Dean Ashton's at the Etihad for Man City. Brentford, the teams are in the tunnel. Word on the Brentford team: Henderson not involved, Thiago not involved as well. It kind of baffles me a little bit, I've got to say. Dean Ashton, what do you think?
I think you know what I'm going to say, Aid. I'm just so disappointed. I feel for the Brentford supporters. You know, you're a club that at the moment are reasonably safe in the Premier League, never won a major trophy. You're at this stage of a competition. City, you know, are going to make changes. The manager's talked about it. And then two of your most influential players and your top scorer don't even travel, let alone start the game. I just think it's a huge disappointment. And I think Keith Andrews is off the mark here. You are forgetting what is genuinely important, I think, to supporters and to players. You know, there's not many opportunities in your career to get to finals, to possibly win trophies. You've got to take those opportunities. There is plenty of time when you are retired to rest. I do understand Thiago's had injuries in his career that maybe he struggles to recover between weekend games. Henderson's getting on, but come on, they can play 3 games in a week, or at least be here on the bench to influence the game. I'm really disappointed. Yeah,
I've got to say I'm with you on that. Newcastle, Fulham, the build-up gets underway in a few moments over on Talksport 2. Join me over there for that. I'm here at St James's Park for the game. Best way is download the Talksport app and go to live games on the bottom right of the home screen. You can navigate your way to the commentary of your choice. And you're going to need that app this month because we've got the festive 50 live commentaries in December across the Talksport network. And another one about to kick off as Manchester City take on Brentford. Pep used to own this cup, not anymore. Can the Bees take advantage? Live from the Etihad, it's City against Brentford with your team of former England striker Dean Ashton alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good evening to you. Well, Pep Guardiola has spoken in the past about the importance of this competition to his time here at City. After a trophyless first season, it was the League Cup in 2018 that brought the first silverware of Pep's reign. Premier League title soon followed. 13 more trophies have come in the wake of those successes. In the early days, this was a competition they dominated. Didn't lose a tie for 4 years, but they haven't reached a final in the 4 years since. So now after another trophyless season, and the rarity of that, they're hoping to draw upon that maiden triumph from 17-18 and find a similar catalyst for another silver-laden era. Well, the last League Cup triumph came in 2021. That was the season Brentford got further than ever before. Still a championship club at the time. They reached the semis, the only major semi-final in the club's history. If Brentford fans have revelled in their side becoming established in the Premier League, they would love a shot at cup success. Just ask Palace fans what that can mean. So maybe a little bit of a disappointment with the side that has been picked tonight without both Henderson and Igor Thiago, although both potentially did pick up knocks in that game against Leeds at the weekend. City have got Trafford in goal, Lewis, Kusanov, Ake and O'Reilly, Gonzalez, Bob Cherky, Reinders and Savino and Makassa. For Brentford is Valdimarsson, Coyote, Ayer, Collins, Vandenberg and Henry, Jan Jensen with Damsgaard in support of Shada. City with all the big hitters on the bench. Well, on paper it looks a tall task, but since February 2022, only 5 English clubs have won here at the Etihad, and Brentford are one of them. So can the Bees repeat the trick and reach their second major semi-final? Or will a much-changed City side move within a step of their first League Cup final in 5 years, eyeing up the silverware that evaded them last season? We are underway. Brentford red and white striped shirts with solid red backs to those, and black numbering that is almost impossible to read. The City, light blue shirts and white shorts, and they're kicking from left to right. Now they're in possession, deep inside their own half, with Kusanov knocking it forward towards Oscar Bob, one of the players recalled tonight. His first touch not the best, it's just bounced off him and gone out of play for a throw. Now that'll be taken by Rico Henry. And Henry, about 15 yards adrift of the edge of the Manchester City penalty area as he launches it forward. Shada the target, it didn't come off his head, but that of Lewis. City managed to prevent it going out of play for a corner, and they elegantly play their way out of trouble on the right-hand touchline before Reinders' touch just came after the ball had gone over the line. And this will be the cue for Michael Coyote to make his way forward. and to launch his first long throw inside the penalty area tonight. I'm delighted to say the former England international and FA Cup finalist Dean Ashton is alongside us. Coyote preparing to arch his back here with 4 inside the 6-yard box and another 2 lurking not too far outside the 6-yard box. In comes the throw. City can clear at the second attempt, out as far as Henry. Down towards Coyote again as the rain really drives in, and it's going into the faces of the City players in this first half. Coyote can't find a way past Reinders, and Aya is dispossessed by Bob. Goes out of play for another Brentford throw. They made a good start there.
They have, yeah. There's a reason why I've got a Rory Delap Christmas jumper this year. It is the year of the long throw. Coyote, the best of them. And they've got to make use of that at every opportunity against this City side. Lacking a little bit of height and aggression, I would say, in the team. Something that I'm sure Brentford will have looked at, and Keith Andrews. And Sharda and Damsgaard missed out at the weekend, and you could tell. They weren't the same creative, attacking, vibrant team, Brentford at home against Leeds. So I just wonder whether those two fresh tonight can cause Manchester City some problems.
Well, I know there's been a lot of disquiet about the side that has been picked by Brentford tonight. They've made 6 changes. But if you look at the number of starts that the players have made, of those that have come in, have made 49 Premier League starts this season. The outfield players, those that have been left out tonight, have only made 52. So, apart from the fact that they're without Igor Thiago and Jordan Henderson, and I think that there's a doubt about the ability to manage the minutes of each of those, could say it's a not significantly weaker team that has been picked tonight, particularly in the absence of Ouattara, who's away on international duty. Rico Henry just flagged offside here. It's a free kick that City have taken, still 0-0 here on Talksport. And don't forget, later tonight over on Talksport 2, an 8:15 kickoff at St James Park for Newcastle United against Fulham. And then at the conclusion of this game, you will be able to hear the last 35 minutes or so of that one right here. City in possession at the back with James Trafford. Another chance for him tonight. Launching it forward for Bob. It's just drifted over his shoulder, but come off the top of his left boot and straight out of play for a Brentford throw.
Yeah, I think a few eyes on James Trafford as well. Obviously, coming back to Manchester City, thinking he was going to be the number 1, and then Gigi Donnarumma comes into the side and he's had to wait. And he made a couple of mistakes early on in the season too. His confidence has been knocked. So another player to look out for if Brentford can target him.
Yeah, just his 7th appearance for Manchester City tonight. A couple of clean sheets in his previous 6. Here's O'Reilly, one of the players that was retained from the impressive win at Palace at the weekend. They're playing at left back again. He can't get too far forward. Brentford have got it back in this 5-3-1-1 formation that they're utilising tonight. City have it again, working it forwards. Macassar trying to thread it through. It should be mopped up easily enough on the edge of the penalty area. Brentford will get it away. And then O'Reilly just mindfully watches the ball out of play over on that far touchline for another Manchester City throw. Have won the competition 8 times, including 6 times in the space of 8 seasons, City. Without getting to any of the last 4 finals, they've still only lost 5 out of 35 games in this competition under Pep. They're in possession here with Uzbeki defender Kusanov getting it forward over halfway. Played straight back to him by Reinders. And now back for Ake. He's only made 1 Premier League start this season. His minutes in the league on the wane these days. But starting tonight, getting it forward here. A good movement off the ball came from Bob. And now an opportunity for Rico Lewis. Down to the Manchester City right again. The idea was right from Cherky to cleverly flick it round the corner, dragging it with his left boot behind his right leg. It's hit Henry and gone on a play for a throw that City have taken quickly. And after that good first couple of minutes for Brentford, the game has now settled into the largely anticipated pattern, Dean, with plenty of Manchester City possession. And Brentford having to do plenty of chasing. Damsgaard doing it there, trying to put the pressure on Trafford, who whacks it forward quickly. Bob chasing after it. Henry there first. And Valdimmerson was out to pick up.
Yeah, it was sharp defensive work from Rico Henry. He was across Oscar Bob and he had the pace to match him as well. It's a good job because it was a decent ball over the top, skipping away off the wet surface. But I think Keith Andrews setting his side up with that back three and the three midfield players in front is the right thing against not only this type of opposition, but the players are up against, the technical players that want to play short passes. Oscar Bobo, the only one at the moment showing that willingness to run in behind, so they want to flood the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, it was a feature of Brentford under Thomas Frank, where against a side who were expected to dominate possession against them, they would play with a back five, and in matches where they might have more of the ball, they go with a four, play 4-3-3, but it is, as I say, a 5-3-1-1, 5-3-2 tonight. They're just struggling to get out of their own half at the moment, and Kusanov has barreled into Rico Henry there really strongly, and he's caught the much smaller Brentford defender around the back of the head with his shoulder. And Henry's gone down in need of treatment. And it's going to be a free kick to Brentford about 10 yards inside their own half. 0-0 through the opening 7 minutes here on a typical, stereotypical Mancunian night, with the rain really throwing it down now. I think we're in the right place, you and I, Dean. Valdimmerson to take this free kick. Henry's okay, he's back on his feet and actually didn't need any treatment. It's just made sure he was okay rather than anything else. And City will keep a very high defensive line for this Valdimmerson punt for.
Yeah, and there's 8 of them in a line. Just the 2, no one standing up front. I think they understand, City, the threat that Brentford will have from any set play, especially with that 3-man defence, all above 6 foot, all aggressive in the air.
Brentford have won it back temporarily after City were able to get it clear. It goes straight out of play off Janel for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester City left, level with the edge of their own penalty area. A long time since City have been eliminated from this competition here. Last time was back in 2014 when Newcastle beat them. They have lost a semi-final match against Manchester United here in between times, but still went through on aggregate. So not been eliminated in this competition here for 11 years. We've got possession just inside Brentford territory. And then the ball is nudged back by Cherky for Rico Lewis, and he in turn finds Ake. Ake will turn it back for Trafford in all yellow tonight. Away to our left-hand side here on Talksport, where we're 8.5 minutes in at 0-0. As the ball is thrashed for, Coyote coming to meet it, and was just pulled under the flight of it, was judged to have been fouled. Not a decision that Savinho is particularly impressed with. Sam Barrett was adamant, and he's given the free kick Brentford's way. 0-0.
I think that's because Coyote had hold of Savinho's shirt, but Savinho wasn't looking at the ball. He was looking at the man, as Coyote was then tripped underneath the ball. But I think it's about mindset. When you get the draw, Brentford heads dipped, of course they would do, when you get that draw away to Manchester City. But then once you get here, you see the team, you've got to have that positive attitude that you can come here and win the game and take advantage of the changes, and maybe take advantage of a slight lack of cohesion between the City players.
And now they've been able to play it forward, but the offside flag is up. It was Schade that made the early run. It made it too early. Everybody anticipating that the flag would come up from Nick Greenhill on the far side, and it did. It's one of those rare beasts tonight of a match between 2 Premier League clubs that doesn't have VAR. The replay actually makes it look a darn sight closer than I'd anticipated it being, but I think he has called it absolutely correctly, but it was close.
But he doesn't need to go early, Schade. He's got the pace actually to really hold his run and still get past Nathan Ake. Not just live football tonight, although we have got 2 live cup quarter-finals for you. But we've also got live and free basketball on our YouTube channel, where you can watch the London Lions in action from the Copper Box Arena right now. They need a victory to boost their chances of a top 6 finish in the Euro Cup. That's live free basketball tonight over on the Talksport YouTube channel. And we've got all the darts. Campbell Savada, Barney and Wade both in action as well later on. And that's all in the usual place via the Talksport app as well. This one 0-0 with 11 minutes gone here on Talksport. And both sides just been feeling each other out in the early stages. Neither goalkeeper has had anything to do with any consequence. Trafford's had the ball at his feet a few times, as he does so now. And he side-foots it out towards Kusanov.
Kusanov down to Tijani Reinders, who's been well dispossessed by Jensen, who was absolutely fantastic. And captain's performance at Grimsby in the last round of the Cup that Dean and I saw, where Brentford quickly rattled up a 5-0 lead against League 2 opposition, and Jensen was instrumental in that. They're getting the nod again this evening. Brentford with a long diagonal switch out towards Henry, who's cleverly feathered it round the corner here. But Sharda again has gone too early.
He just doesn't need to. That's frustrating for a manager when you've got a player in a forward area that's got genuine pace. Kevin Sharda has, but is just a little lazy in making sure that he stays on side. Kusanov, clever, sees the run of Sharda, just steps forward slightly and catches him offside.
So here's Nico O'Reilly coming forward for Manchester City down the left-hand side. Releasing Savinho. Bob was waiting in the middle. It's coming behind him. Makassa is going to be able to pick it up. Now feeds Lewis. Cherky drags it wide of the near post. That's the best opportunity that either side have created so far. City stringing the passes together, working it very quickly down that left-hand side. He utilised the pace of Savinho. And Cherky couldn't quite hit the target from a shot from the edge of the penalty area. It's probably gone about a foot wide.
Yeah, it was a fantastic diagonal run from Savinho. And a straight ball in behind Coyote. He did the right thing. I thought he put into the area that the City attackers wanted. Makassa a little slow on the uptake to just read where that ball was going to land. Otherwise, he would have had a decent strike from about 8 yards. Instead, it was recycled to Cherky, who can use both feet. Got it onto his left foot and just drags it slightly.
He has started both of the previous League Cup ties this season, Divine Makassa. He's only 18, he's an England under-19 international, and he's got a decent goal-scoring record for his country at that level, 4 in his last 7 competitive internationals. But played up front against Huddersfield. He actually played in a deeper role in central midfield in the win against Swansea in the last round, but he's leading the line again tonight. Still only 18. It is an area with the City having very little cover for Haaland that would be a concern. Marmoush away on international duty for the foreseeable now at the African Cup of Nations with Egypt. And if Haaland were to pick up an injury at the weekend, you just wonder how things would be shuffled around. Now Bob's made an excellent run down the right-hand side. Henry stumbled. He's inside the penalty area here. Oscar Bob, and he's shot at the near post. Val Dimmerson protecting that part of the goal, just got his hands down, was very grateful that Oscar Bob went that way. Rico Henry really relieved.
Yeah, real shame though, because the first 2 parts were excellent from Oscar Bob. The little step forwards as if he was coming short, spins in behind. It was Rico Henry that slipped because of that movement from Oscar Bob. Once he was in, again, a lovely bit of body movement, just a body swerve to take it away from Collins onto his left foot, and then the strike was weak. Just hit the top of the ball. It takes all the pace out of the ball. And easy for the goalkeeper, but the first 2 parts were excellent.
Brentford playing through their penalty area now. In possession. Nice work by Sepp Vandenberg back across the other side of the box. And Christopher Ayer can get it forward, finding Michael Coyote, the Italian, back to his centre half. And Brentford having better possession, but still much closer to the edge of their own penalty area than halfway. In fact, they've worked it much deeper now for Val Dimmerson, who played in the first 2 League Cup ties as well. Brentford have already eliminated 2 Premier League clubs in this run. They saw off Bournemouth and beat Villa on penalties before that big win at Grimsby. They've got it forward here now towards Sharda, who was onside and brought down about 3 yards outside the penalty area. Now, there was a covering defender, and it is only that has made it a yellow card and not a red for Kusanov.
I'm not too sure. I am not too sure. Kevin Sharda gets the touch away from Kusanov. I don't think the defender's getting there. It's Kevin Sharda, by the way. He's away. Once he's away, you ain't catching him. And I just think it's a great run from Sharda this time. Keeps himself onside, takes it away. Ake isn't really getting round on the cover. I think Kusanov is extremely lucky that is not red, because Kevin Sharda is stepping 3 more steps forward and has a great opportunity to score, taking the strike unchallenged.
I think the only thing, well, there are 2 things that could potentially have saved him. Firstly, that touch from Sharda was just worked slightly wide of the inside right channel. And the second aspect is that there's no VAR. Because if there was VAR tonight, I do think that referee Sam Barrett would have been called over and that might have been upgraded. It is only, in inverted commas, a yellow. Meanwhile, a significant problem for Manchester City is an injury to Oscar Bob, who has been down receiving treatment for the last minute or so. Whilst there was all that conjecture about whether Sam Barrett would produce a yellow or a red for Kusanov, and Bob receiving treatment. Is it a knee problem he's got there? I think the Manchester City medical staff just flexing that right knee. That seems to be the principal problem. We're just having another look on our monitors of the challenge that Kusanov made. He just barreled him over. He knew that he couldn't allow Sharda to get past him. And you can understand Keith Andrews' disquiet that wasn't a dismissal.
I think they can find themselves extremely hard done by, Brentford. Because I think Sharda's away. It's slightly wide, but I would say it's only wide enough to the edge of the 6-yard line. That's not particularly wide for a top-level forward to have a great chance to score with just the goalkeeper in front of them. Ake is definitely not getting back on the cover. He isn't. The touch isn't that far away from Sharda. And they'll feel like that decision has gone the wrong way for Brentford.
So Kusanov is mightily relieved. Bob, on the other hand, having picked up that injury and had a little bit of treatment, has made his way down the tunnel, and his race is run. And Manchester City are going to be bringing Phil Foden on much earlier than they had anticipated. He's just putting his number 47 shirt on in front of us right now. Meanwhile, the 10 men, temporarily 10, of City have a free kick to defend. And this is 6 yards outside the penalty area. The infringement actually was closer to the edge of the box than where the ball has been spotted down. It's Jensen that stands over this. There are 5 near the penalty spot for a ball clipped in towards the far post for Brentford. The angle isn't great. It's not prohibitive for a shot. It might be that it favours the left boot of Janelt a little bit more than the right of Jensen. Foden's now ready, but I don't think he's going to be allowed to come on before this free kick is taken, or is he? Yeah, they are going to make the change right now. So Bob off, and Foden on, and Kusanov still on, controversially. Phil Foden has been in the best form of his Manchester City career over the last 18 months. He's got a hat-trick against Brentford on the CV, 7 in 8 games against the Bees in his career in all competitions. So he's on, takes his place in the wall. So Jensen and Janelt standing over this. Jensen raises his right arm above his head. It is he that strikes it well. Trafford just took a quick step to his left-hand side, got his hands behind it, beat it away. And it then takes another touch of a Brentford player on its way out for a throw that City will take in their left-back position. They're glad to have survived that passage of play.
Yeah, beautiful technique from Tyus Jensen, trying to whip that up and round the wall that split, to be honest. O'Reilly just jumping out of the way, but Trafford was across his goal to make an easy save as it was bending in towards the middle of the goal rather than away from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was a strange wall. It was a 3-man wall, but by the time the ball was actually struck, there was effectively, to use a cricket analogy, they had players at first, second and fifth slip because there was such a big gap between them. And then O'Reilly, in jumping, half turned, so it was an even bigger gap. And that's what Jensen went through, but it did mean that Trafford was perfectly sighted and could make an easy save. 0-0, 20 minutes gone. Now, Brentford certainly feel as though Kusanov should have been sent off. Just got a yellow card. Brentford thought he denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. That's the main talking point through the opening 20 minutes here at the Etihad tonight. Chelsea already through. We'll find out later whether it's going to be Newcastle or Fulham that get through in the night's other quarter-final. That's live on Talksport 2, the first half, and then the second half will be right here. And then this round of the competition concludes next Tuesday night, where Arsenal take on Palace in a London derby. The draw, incidentally, made later tonight, and the boys on the sports bar will have first news of that. Who gets who? Foden, right-hand side of the penalty area, driving inside the penalty area, but he couldn't find Rico Lewis, who made a run past him. Brentford try and get it away. Jensen, the latest to stumble. There's so much rain coming down that it has made conditions underfoot a little bit treacherous. Lewis has got it again. Back from him to Ake. Now to the left-hand side of midfield for Nico O'Reilly. Savinho quickly joins in. And he's able to do really well to maintain possession and get away from Coyote. Flicked towards the edge of the D again. Still City Carpenter. Shot from the edge of the box has drifted well wide. He just cut across it when he struck it there, Savinho. Couldn't hit the target. Valdimmerson watches it away. And we're nearly at the midway point of the first half. Still Manchester City 0, Brentford 0 here on Talksport. And here's Dean Ashton.
Well, like I said, Brentford seeing the lineup before the game should have taken some confidence that they can win the game, and then there's the injury and you see Phil Foden coming on, the one player you really don't want to see with the form that he is in. And we've just started to rotate a little bit, City, in that attacking area. Mukasson is now on the right hand side, Cherki is the forward, Foden's gone into the middle alongside Reinders, and Savinho stayed on that left-hand side. They will all rotate into different positions. I think that's going to be key, actually, to try and draw this Brentford defence out.
The Bees, on the other hand, quite regimented in their back five, as you would expect, with Ayer in possession now, finding his goalkeeper, Valdimmerson. Played out towards Janelt, who just dropped back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Now, Brentford have been able to play through the press effectively. Amishada's 5 yards offside this time. Flag up against him. Keith Andrews standing in a black coat. Just down in front of us, one of his coaches coming across and having a word with him. I think he'll be, by and large, pretty happy with the way that his side have started this. They've come into it, the Bees, on the back of a poor run away from home, and they've lost 4 in a row. Beaten by various teams, most recently Spurs and Arsenal. On their travels, they've only avoided defeat in one of their 8 away matches in the Premier League so far. City getting it forward here. Mukasson making a run down the right-hand side. It's worked in towards Cherki. Instead can shoot, and Valdimmerson can tip it away. It swerved in the air. He was able to keep his hands behind it, the Icelandic goalkeeper, and beat it away for a corner. City's first of the night. They've taken it instantly. The play back towards Divine Mukasson. Now from him to Foden, near the edge of the D. Doesn't shoot. The ball clipped inside the penalty area, headed away by Schade. Rico Lewis, the deepest of City outfield players, can pick up possession, and he's still 20 yards inside Brentford territory. So he plays it forward here for Reinders. Now out towards Savinho again. And Savinho on the corner of the penalty area, stops the ball with the studs of his left boot and just pulls it back for Reinders once more. Still 0-0 with 24 minutes gone. City trying to win another corner, have to make do with a throw as Coyote came across to cover.
Yeah, well, Cherki has been the most dangerous, hasn't he, so far with the Manchester City attackers, again with a sighter at goal, this time with his right foot looking to strike. Doesn't strike through it, compresses the ball actually, which gives it a little bit of the backspin, which just made it difficult for Valdimmerson.
And they have it again inside the Brentford penalty area now. Coyote trying to make a challenge. I think it was Ayer that actually put his foot in to get it away. The Manchester City will win another corner. They are beginning to turn the screw now with 20 minutes to go to half-time. Still 0-0 though.
And it's about tempo, isn't it, for these City players? If the tempo can be right, because of their quality, they should be able to find a way through even what is quite a compact defence, because you wouldn't say at foot level they're particularly quick, the 3 defenders.
So in comes this latest corner, which is easily repelled. Left-footed effort back in from Reinders, goes over the bar. Header away came to him on the edge of the D, and he struck it beautifully, but couldn't keep it down. And it's flown over by a couple of feet or so. Out of play for a goal kick. They've had 5 shots to 2, though, and they are beginning to create chances with a real regularity. But 25 minutes in, it's still 0-0 here on Talksport.
Casual, wasn't it, from Reinders? I actually like that. When that ball comes out the air, I like the casualness of a player going up to volley it, not snatching at it, just looking to guide with the pace on the ball, as Reinders did there. He was a little unlucky, he couldn't get that to dip a little more.
Has got a couple of goals in his City career so far, but is still waiting for his first here. 10 without a goal on home turf. As Coyote picks up possession again, goes back for Ayer, is on the right of the three centre-halves for Brentford, with Sepp van den Berg in the middle and Collins to the left, and those two exchange passes, and then Collins drops his shoulder, tries to work it forward into the feet of Rico Henry. The ball goes out of play for a throw that Jensen prepares to take, or intimates that he's going to take it, and then Henry made his way towards it, and Collins takes over, and then Collins bowls the ball down for Henry. At least just get a few seconds off the clock whenever you can. Henry taking the throw, Damsgaard trying to help it on. Ake gobbled that up and finds O'Reilly inside the centre circle. What a 15-18 months he has had. He's brought full international recognition, and deservedly so. Nico Gonzalez, back for Ake. Here's Kusanov, the one-player book so far. To Reinders again. Reinders turning inside, getting away from Collins. Clever back heel flick from Cherky, played him back in, and still he goes. Reinders towards the edge of the penalty area. Down he comes now for Divine Makassa. Makassa laying it off. Cherky taking over. He's a yard outside the box, tried to nutmeg Sepp van den Berg and work the ball through for Foden. It's hit the Brentford player, comes back out. Another shot comes in from Makassa. That one is blocked. Kusanov will pick it up now. Nico Gonzalez in a more central position. O'Reilly to his left. Reinders will be able to bring it away. City fans finding their voice. It's by no means full tonight. Probably about 6,000-7,000 empty seats or so, I would imagine, here at the Etihad. Those City supporters finding their voice, willing their side on. They've had the better of it in the opening 27 minutes. And certainly Valdimersson's been much the busier of the two goalkeepers, but a controversial moment at the other end where Schade was brought down by Kusanov, and referee Barrett gave a yellow card and not the red that many anticipated. Long switch of play. Excellent chest trap by Rico Henry. And he can now run forward at Rico Lewis, who times his challenge really well. And the amount of rain that we've had holds the ball up as it comes away from that sliding challenge. Stops it going out of play for a corner. And thanks to the industry of the retreating Makassa, who came back right by the corner flag to be able to pick up possession. And he will trot upfield with City having easy ball near the heart of the midfield, with Ake getting it forward for Cherky, and they can just pick their passes and make progress upfield. Still 0-0.
It's a terrific tackle from Rico Lewis. He's had to be patient, actually. Had a lot of opportunity in the team recently, and he had to time that perfectly, because if he didn't, that would have been a penalty. But slid in to take it away from Rico Henry.
Ball played back for Trafford, who had the time for the second touch that he wanted. And then he curves it down the right-hand side, but past Makassa, and straight out of play for a throw. That's been taken quickly by Nathan Collins. Several players in this Brentford side have played in a League Cup quarter-final before. Some of them last season. Brentford got to this stage 12 months ago. They lost to eventual winners Newcastle. The only successful quarter-final they've ever had was also against Newcastle. That 5 years ago, when, as a championship team under Thomas Frank, they beat the Geordies with a goal from Josh Da Silva. Made it through to the semis, lost to Tottenham. First frustrating night of Thomas Frank's managerial career at Tottenham. Been a few since. Lewis has got the ball in the midfield now. Back from him to Kusanov. Kusanov for Ryan Cherky. Cherky just trying to draw Jensen into a challenge. He flicked it past him, but he couldn't beat Henry as well. Henry digs it clear, but City winning a lot of second ball. Keith Andrews trying to talk his side's back five into defending with unanimity. Just telling them when to push forward, when to drop back. Trying to get City offside. Orchestrating nearly every defensive move at the moment. City still with possession with Lewis. Getting it to his right. 0-0 here on Talksport with half an hour behind us. A clever little backheel flick from Makassa, who's linked up play very well. Hasn't had too many opportunities to get into shooting positions in and around the edge of the penalty area. Nico Gonzalez gets it forward here. Lewis couldn't take it in his stride. Brentford win it back, but Jensen can't find Damsgaard. And Keith Andrews bobbing up and down inside his technical area. He was furious that was the case. City get it forward now with Savinho standing the ball up inside the 6-yard box. It's taken a touch, firstly off a Brentford centre half, and then Henry heads it behind for another City corner, their third.
Well, first of all, you can see why Keith Andrews is frustrated, because he can see there's the opportunity to break if they get it right when they win the ball back into Damsgaard. Just missed him, and then Sharda could have been away. And City with Savinho, who's got the beating of Coyote for pace. Now, that's a couple of times he's got past him.
And they got a corner. First one on this near touchline went short. This one is going to be fired inside that 6-yard box, where the goalkeeper came out, was headed away from in front of him, and then there was a collision, and a shot is rifled into the top right-hand corner. It's a magnificent finish to give Manchester City the lead. And that is a goal of rare quality. It was half cleared, came back outside the penalty area for Ryan Cherky, who got it onto his right foot and arrowed it into the top right-hand corner for his 4th Manchester City goal. He's scored in both of the League Cup ties that he's played, and he's given Manchester City a deserved lead here.
Ryan Cherky is another one of those players, isn't he, where it's his world and it's just a pleasure to be in it. Such a talent, already starting to really show what he's all about, but he's been given a couple of sighters. He just checks away from Damsgaard, who simply isn't good enough on the edge of the area. Just allows Ryan Cherky to get onto that right foot, and then he sets himself and really does drill through it over the top of Coyote's head and right into that right-hand side top corner. It's a beautiful strike and a beautiful goal from Ryan Cherky.
They had so many bodies to get the ball past. Just squeezed it over the head of Coyote, who was about 3 yards off the line. Maybe just brushed the top of his head on its way through. But it's a magnificent finish. Cherky scored at Wolves on his Premier League debut and has now added another 3 to that tally. And Manchester City lead here by a goal to nil. And they've had an excellent home record this season. 9 home wins in the last 10, and they've averaged nearly 3 goals a game in that time. And they have the lead here just past the half-hour mark. Now, the latest City attack is curtailed. Savinho had the ball at his feet, but play has been stopped by the referee because Damsgaard has gone down with his right hand to the back of his head. Just got caught, I think, just round the right-hand side of the face. He's okay, he's back on his feet. The Brentford medical staff come on to attend to him. Some strike by Ryan Cherky, and enjoyed by those on the Manchester City bench as well. I think every single Manchester City player would have been very proud of a finish like that. It's been some staunch rearguard action from Brentford at times tonight. They have restricted the number of opportunities that City have been able to create. It needed something special, and boy could Cherky provide it.
And that's the one thing for any side that's going to sit deep against the opposition. I think that's when a team like Manchester City, a team like Aston Villa have definitely shown this season, if those opportunities are presented to you on the edge of the area, you should at this level be capable of scoring goals like Cherky has there. Having the time to find that top corner. And slowly but surely he's really starting to show all the attributes and the star quality that he clearly has.
Well, the games in the Women's Champions League, they're on match day 6, which is the decisive one in the group stage. They've all kicked off. A couple of early goals. Bayern Munich leading Vålerenga by a goal to nil. And Real Madrid lead, I think, at Twente by a goal to nil. The matches that we're concentrating on tonight: Manchester United away at Juventus, Arsenal in Belgium against Leuven, and Chelsea at Wolfsburg. Chelsea third. They will be through to the quarterfinals if they win, and we'll be keeping you updated with all of the action as it goes on. But those early goals already taking Chelsea out of the top 4, with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich now 3rd and 4th respectively. So Chelsea need to respond. Brentford looking to respond here. We've got 10 minutes to go to half time. The first half that is going to be elongated because of a couple of injuries. Ake getting the ball forward here as City look for a second. It's headed away by Collins on the edge of his own penalty area, and then passed out towards the Brentford right, where a ball down the line will release Damsgaard, but Ake had enough of a head start. He's got a pace advantage against Mikkel Damsgaard as well. Was able to win that battle and get it back for Trafford, and Ake can play it out from the back. 9 to go to half time.
What I have been impressed with Manchester City is the variety. Sometimes they can get stuck trying to be too intricate in the middle of the pitch, and teams are happy to sit there and defend. What they have done is mixed that with then those darting runs from the wingers, whether it's Savinho, whether it was Oscar Bob when he was on, whether it is now Mukasa diving inside the wing backs towards the centre backs, and it just draws the defence slightly deeper.
Cherky flicking the ball forward here. Lewis trying to help it on, but past Mukasa and out of play. It is Manchester City 1, Brentford 0 here on Talksport, and following us at 10:15 tonight, Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy will open up the sports bar, give you your chance to have your say to all of the night's action, and the draw will be about 20 minutes into that programme. I think it's scheduled for 10:35 tonight. 03717223344 is the number to call. Chelsea already through. Manchester City, as things stand right now, will be joining them. Newcastle against Fulham kicks off at 8:15, so in about 7 or 8 minutes' time. That's live, the first half at least, on Talksport 2. And then the conclusion of the game will be here on Talksport when this one is done. James Trafford's got the ball at his feet inside the penalty area for Manchester City. They're leading after that excellent goal from Cherky some 6 minutes ago. And City will bring it forward now with Rico Lewis. Lewis finding the aforementioned Cherky, who just took it past Janelt. Lays it off for Nico Gonzalez. Some good football being played here by City with O'Reilly invited forward. Back he goes for Reinders. Reinders coming towards the edge of the penalty area. Exchanges passes with Foden. Foden getting it again. Man has scored 6 in his last 5 games in all competitions. He's been in really good form. Kusanov now. They're coming forward towards the edge of the box, then stops about 15 yards adrift. He's got time to look at his options, decide who he's going to pick out. He's gone for Cherky. Cherky chipping one over the top here. Foden brings it down, jogs it on his left foot, then his right. Plays back towards the edge of the penalty area for Nico Gonzalez. Now it comes down for Cherky again. Foden just couldn't quite get himself into a shooting position with 3 Brentford players around him. Recycled it well, just played the way that he was facing, didn't try and turn. O'Reilly, City bringing it forward once more, then forced to go back for Ake. Now the dark-haired fixer Kusanov will side-foot it forward towards Foden. And Foden brings it forward for Reinders. Reinders away from Jensen, and it's taken a deflection and goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Brentford left-hand side by Rico Henry. 6.5 to go to the break.
Yes, starting to move it well. Starting to move it really well, Manchester City. Good interchanging of positions from the forward players. Not giving that midfield an opportunity to really hold their positions. Yarmolyuk and Janelt really struggling now to cover the area that the City attackers are taking up. And Foden, Cherky starting to show their stuff. Cherky's been outstanding. A brilliant little clip over the top for Foden, who could have taken it first time, maybe tried to flick it with the outside of his left foot over the top of Aldermarsson, but tried to take it down and probably swivel, didn't quite keep control of it.
Brentford take a free kick, flicked out of the left-hand touchline, where Henry couldn't quite bring it under control quickly enough. But Mukassa's laid it back for Lewis and put him under a little bit of pressure because Jensen read what was coming, and then Schade is in there a little bit too strongly. The ball's gone over the line and out of play for a goal kick. But said that there were a few thousand empty seats tonight, a few more than I thought. The crowd just a shade over 38,000 tonight. Manchester City leading Brentford by 1-0. We've got more live football for you tomorrow. Big game for Palace in the Conference League. I certainly anticipated that they would be able to sail through that group stage and avoid the playoff round. They need a win tomorrow against a Finnish opposition in KUPS. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff at Selhurst tomorrow night. That game is over on Talksport 2. Also on Talksport 2 Friday night, the all-Welsh encounter between Swansea and Wrexham, and then we're back for week 17 of Premier League action, and we've got 3 live exclusive games for you on Saturday. Newcastle-Chelsea at 12:30, Everton-Arsenal at 8, both of those on Talksport, and also at 8 on Saturday night. It's Leeds against Crystal Palace. We've got it all covered for you here on Talksport. Let's find out what's been going on at Ali Pally so far tonight in the darts. Here's Mark Wilson. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, American. Adam Savada wins on debut. He's beaten the Canadian Matt Campbell by 3-1. Pivotal moment, end of the second set. Campbell missed. Savada didn't. Basically won the last 5 games of the match. And Campbell now loses his tour card. Action continues on the Talksport app. Campbell is out. Savada beats him by 3-1.
Cheers, Mark. It's Barney against Belmont next as the ball is played inside the City penalty area, and Lewis comes across to cover and puts it out of play for Brentford's first corner of the night.
You know, it's Jajar that made the driving run from that right centre-back position. Good ball from Damsgaard, just fed it down the side of Ake. The big centre-back was between Kursanov and Ake. Kursanov made a mess of it, flicked off his heel, but Lewis was there just to cover his defender and clear. But these are the opportunities for Brentford, the set play opportunities. Can you take one?
Oh, well, they scored a stack of set-piece goals last season. Keith Andrews was the set-piece coach. A few at the beginning of this season, not many recently. In comes this latest corner. The first for Brentford, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Jensen recycles it. Gets it again near the corner of the box. Another ball is fired in from Janelt. Going up for it was Damsgaard against the much taller O'Reilly. And it's come off the Manchester City player and out for a throw that'll be taken on the Brentford left by Coyote. It was at the G-Tech for that thrilling encounter between Brentford and Liverpool, where Coyote's long throws were causing numerous problems. He's just worked this one short. Finds Janelt, then gets it back. Swung in towards Ayer at the far post, who headed it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and Schade couldn't get a touch. City will be able to get it away. Launch it towards halfway, where Jensen's the last man back for Brentford and brings it under control. He finds Damsgaard. Damsgaard happy to go all the way back for his goalkeeper. Valdemerson's got the option of Collins to his left, but he might decide to work it a little bit longer here. We've got 2 to go to half-time, maybe another 2 to be added on top of that. Still Manchester City 1, Brentford 0. Bayern Munich in the Women's Champions League are now 2-0 up in their game, but that Real Madrid goal got disallowed against Twente, which is good news as far as Chelsea are concerned. So as things stand right now, Chelsea 0-0 in their game at Wolfsburg will be going through the top 4 finish. Arsenal and Manchester United will both be in the playoffs as things stand. We'll get details at half-time in this game of everything that is going on in the matches involving the 3 English clubs tonight. 90 seconds to go. I'm hearing there will be 3 additional minutes. And here's Nathan Collins getting it forward here for Brentford. And the Bees skipper gets it back from Jensen, then finds Janelt. Janelt to Sepp van den Berg. Across to the right-hand side for Christopher Ayer. And now Brentford will bring it forward again in a slightly deeper position with Yarmoliuk, who's just dropped deep.
Yeah, they just seem to have sat off City, haven't they? After a really intense 20 or so minute period. Almost after the Schade Kursanov incident, where Brentford will feel Kursanov should have been sent off. They take a little chance there, Nico O'Reilly. But since then, City have really commanded the game, have been comfortable, and Brentford haven't been able to get Damsgaard and Schade into the game when they looked a threat early on.
Well, the goal from Ryan Cherky on 32 minutes. Brentford haven't had a side of City's goal since then. They've just had that one notable free kick, which was relatively easily saved by Trafford, with Jensen firing it through a splitting Manchester City wall. Jensen's got it again now. They're coming towards the edge of the box. They're getting it onto his right foot, but have 5 City players all around him and have no real discernible passing options. He's worked the ball deep. Brentford recycling it and able to come towards the edge of the penalty area now. This is Sepp van den Berg. Add to the Balding Damsgaard over on the far touchline. Work forward from him to Coyote. Now into the feet of Janelt. Confirmation from the 4th official, Farai Halam, of 3 extra minutes as the ball is worked back inside the penalty area, but Cherky can clear, and now the counter-attack can be on for City. They'll get it forward quickly with Reinders. Down to the right-hand side for Macassar, wearing 63, the Manchester City teenager. Back from him to the goal scorer, Cherky. Larratt one into the top right-hand corner about a quarter of an hour ago to give Manchester City this deserved lead. Gonzalez, Cherky The bearded Frenchman taking over again. Another exchange of passes in the midfield between him and Reinders. Now between him and Foden. There's no pressure coming on Cherki. They just wait for him to release the ball and then they will push up. They're happy for Reinders to try and make a run in. Coyote had just played everyone onside for a moment, but it wasn't a ball over the top. It was worked out towards that touchline instead. Brentford mop up, get it back for Valdimmerson. His long clearance chested down by Kusanov very effectively in the midfield. Now Ryan Cherki out on the right-hand side will get a run of Rico Henry. Cuts it onto his left foot, then try to drag it back onto his right inside the box, but Collins can win it back for Brentford. Fire it out towards Jensen, who should be able to turn. And he's won a throw, which will be taken on the Brentford left. Half-time approaching, 1-0 to City.
And it's been a comfortable 1-0, you would have to say. I don't think Brentford have taken full advantage of the lack of playing time for some of the Manchester City players. Been happy to sit deep, and then since Foden's come on, he's going to make a difference, but they've looked a lot more fluid in attack.
One game taking place in the Premiership tonight at Tannadice, where Celtic lead at Dundee United with a goal from Dyson Maeder, his 7th of the season. Celtic, who have lost 3 in a row for the first time in 5 years, putting new coach Nancy under all kinds of pressure, but they lead at Tannadice by a 1-0 against the Dundee United side, who are without a win in 7. They've only won 1 of their last 11. Keep you updated with that as the night progresses. Last knockings of the first half here. Brentford stealing a few yards with a quickly taken throw by Jensen, and it's well defended by Kusanov, who just stopped Rico Henry being able to make the run round him. The ball goes out of play for a goal kick. Trafford will be able to run a few seconds off the clock, and that will see us, I think, into the break at 1-0.
And Pep Guardiola, I think, will be pretty pleased with what he's seen. I think he'll understand that maybe they got away with the Kusanov red card, but his team have been in control. The changes haven't really shifted the level of performance too much either.
They are underway at St James Park over on Talksport 2. Newcastle against Fulham. And it's half-time here in the Manchester rain, where Ryan Cherki has batted one into the top right-hand corner to give City a deserved lead. Although many Brentford fans, I think every Brentford fan will probably think that City should have been down to 10 men. Kusanov got a yellow card for a challenge on Kevin Schade. It did appear as though he denied him an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. No VAR tonight. Sam Barrett showed a yellow rather than a red. City still with 11. Have been dominant since then. Brentford haven't really been able to create too many chances. Ryan Cherki with the one moment of real wizardry in the game so far. And City lead it at half-time by a 1-0.
And here at St James Park, I'm Adrian Durham. It is 0-0 between Newcastle and Fulham. This one kicked off at 8:15. I must tell you, Lewis Miley is at right back tonight for Newcastle, up against Fulham's record signing Kevin, so that's one to watch. But goalless here at the moment. I've been keeping an eye on Manchester City 1, Brentford 0. Dean Ashton, let's talk about that absolute banger from Ryan Cherki. That is some goal, isn't it?
Stunning strike, wasn't it? You know, just checked onto that right foot, and he really meant. Sometimes you could say a player just strikes through it, and you are just aiming for the goal with power. You could really see he looked up, he really sized up where he wanted to hit it, because Coyote was across that side anyway, and he just arced it and just skimming the top of Coyote's head into that top corner. He is a quality operator. What a superstar he is going to be, Ryan Cherki. There was a couple of flicks here and there early on, just playing at his own pace. Everything's moving slower for him than everybody else, but that was just a little bit of extra quality needed from him, that end product that he started to give to Manchester City, that just let the team relax.
Yeah, absolutely. He even had time to do a double Haaland celebration, the robot and the meditation celebration after hitting a screamer like that. It's a superb goal. And listen, it's no secret anymore, but those who haven't had time or chance or opportunity to see Ryan Cherki play, if you do get the opportunity, he's one of those you will be pleased you paid money to see him, because this is a superstar in the making. And I tell you what he could do, second half of the season, having settled into Premier League life and shown us what he can do by Christmas, Dean Ashton, he could have a big say in the title race, couldn't he?
He could. He absolutely could. I think obviously Kevin De Bruyne is one of those players that's so difficult to replace, but I think Cherki's already shown with the assist that he's given, with the quality that he's starting to show, that he can maybe replace that in a slightly different way, in his own way, of course, with the Rabona assist that we've already seen for Foden's goal, which I absolutely loved. And he has got so much talent and awareness, but probably what sets him apart more than anything, that I think is underrated at times in certain players, is he is genuinely great with both feet. This isn't a player that's just all left-footed or all right-footed and very predictable at times. He is not. He is great with the left, great with the right foot, can strike with either, can play with either. I think he takes set plays with both as well, Ryan Cherki. So a super talent.
Yeah, my theory on Rabona's is that it's only one-footed players who execute them, and he's absolutely blown that theory out of the water this season, I'm afraid. A word on Kusanov, who probably shouldn't be on the pitch. I think Brentford have every right to be upset by that one.
I think so. Again, with looking at where Ake was, he was behind Sharda, so he's having to come round on the cover. He's not coming from the side. Kusanov takes the opportunity to step across thinking he can get it. Sharda's too quick. The ball isn't going that wide. I can understand what Jim's saying, and maybe that was in the thinking of Sam Barrett, the referee. It wasn't that wide. It was 6-yard line wide, which to a top-level striker isn't particularly hampering you too much. He's taking 3 or 4 more steps, and he's having a strike at goal with just the goalkeeper to beat. I think they're so fortunate that isn't a red card.
Yeah, I thought reds. Do you think that the referee, and listen, we're trying to read his mind here, and maybe it's a little bit unfair, but let's ask the question. I think the referee thought, well, I'll show yellow, VAR might be able to overturn it, and then only realised after there's no VAR.
Surely not. Please, no. Surely not.
I would hope
not. I think in the speed in which it happens at pitch level, I think he probably thinks Ake's on the cover, and that maybe in the angle of where he's taken the touch was perhaps in his mind. But you know, as a forward player myself, Sharda is through. You're not catching him for a start, and he hasn't taken too big a touch. He is having a great opportunity to score 1v1 against Trafford, so they're so lucky.
Yeah, Man City got lucky, and then they scored an absolute worldie. Man City leading at half-time live on Talksport by a 1-0 against Brentford. Now we've had a couple of big goals in the Women's Champions League. Angelina Kelly.
Yes, it's OH Leuven 0, Arsenal 1, and it's their £1 million player Olivia Smith who struck the ball straight into the keeper inside the box, but she picked up the rebound and did not miss the second time as she fired it into the roof of the net. And it's Juventus 0, Manchester United 1. United had been relying on their goalkeeper Fallon Tullis-Joyce for the majority of this game. She's made some really key saves, but it was Jess Park. She puts them ahead as she fired the ball from inside the box straight into the top of the far corner. The goalkeeper did not stand a chance. And elsewhere, it is Wolfsburg 1, Chelsea 0, and it's an error from their goalkeeper Olivia Peng, who passed the ball straight out from a goal kick to a Wolfsburg player, and it came into the path of Alexandra Popp, who thumped a half volley into the back of the net. So at the moment, as things stand, all 3 English teams will be going into the playoff because Chelsea have dropped out of the top 4.
Wow, more to come. Any goal anywhere could be crucial in this final round of games in the Women's Champions League group stage. Angelina will keep you in touch with that. Live on TalkSport, Man City lead Brentford by a 1-0. Second half coming up. Over on TalkSport 2 right now, here at St James Park, it is still Newcastle 0, Fulham 0.
Kick off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. 18+gambleaware.org.
The PDC World Darts Championship is back at Ali Pali, and TalkSport is giving you the chance to win an incredible sporting experience with the ultimate VIP hospitality package for you and 3 guests for the afternoon session on Tuesday the 23rd of December, including platinum seats, fine dining, a complimentary bar and exclusive access to the 501 Lounge with Russ the Voice Bray. Game on! Step up to the Oki to enter now at talksport.com/win and get ready for an unforgettable Ali Pali Christmas. Talksport.com/win. This is a TalkSport limited promotion. See talksport.com for terms and conditions.
Where.org.
Hey Sainsbury's, have you got anything to help my money go further?
Well, if you want to make some big savings, make sure to use Nectar Prices and your Nectar Prices at Sainsbury's. Together, they can save you over £450 a year on your food shop.
Bring it on.
Download the Nectar app and tap into great savings. Sainsbury's. Good food for all of us. 18 plus Nectar app required. For full terms, see help.sainsburys.co.uk/help/Nectar prices.
This Christmas, McDonald's and the Elf on the Shelf are bringing festive tasks to your little ones, like writing a Christmas card for your postie.
Thank you. You're one happy helper.
Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until the 30th of December from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy while stocks last. Subject to availability. Fair ordering policy applies.
Love that feeling when a game just clicks? At Virgin Bet, you'll find all your favourites in one place. Classic casino games and hundreds of the most exciting slots. And it's a good bet you'll love our new member welcome offer. Just join, wager at least £10 on slots within 7 days of signing up and get 100 free spins to get you started. Virgin Bet, a good bet. Use free spins on selected games in 7 days. Value varies. Terms and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Bet responsibly. Gambleaware.org.
1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer. But all too often they find out by complete chance too late. It shouldn't be this way. With no early warning signs and no national screening program, we need your support. A donation to Prostate Cancer UK will help fund the research that will improve the odds of catching prostate cancer earlier, saving thousands of lives. It's about time men's lives weren't left to chance. Visit prostatecanceruk.org/give.
Sport. It's in your DNA. That's why at SpreadX Sports, you get great offers and features to aid your sports betting, including £30 in free bets when you join and place a qualifying £10 fixed odds bet at minimum odds of 1 to 2. Visit spreadx.com/DNA for full terms and conditions. SpreadX Sports. It's in our DNA. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org. Qualifying bets cannot be cashed out early. Once settled, get 3 free £10 fixed odds bets on consecutive days. Free bet stakes not included in any winnings. Free bets must be claimed within 28 days.
We're the dirty secret in your drains.
We may start as a nasty little nymph,
but we get more powerful.
Crawling up your pants,
choking your toilet,
until it's all aboard the express train to drain pain.
When your drains become a total horror show, call Metro Rod. Metro Rod's heroes are on hand 24/7 to nuke all the nasty surprises in your pipes. For sanitation salvation, visit metrorod.co.uk. Metro Rod, here to save the day.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, Talksport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half and half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download every morning from 6 on Talksport. With Coral, we're here for the fans. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Hi, Jeff Stelling here. Get that festive feeling with a ferocious Friday night of full-on football on Talksport 2.
A moment of magic!
Swansea take on the might of Wrexham in the Championship with a deafening Welsh derby. Boyle build up from 7 with Yakidar live commentary from 8.
What a ball!
It's a Friday night foray of festive 50 football on Talksport 2.
And we've had a goal here at St James Park in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, and Newcastle have taken the lead. It's an absolute gift wrapped up by Fulham. Newcastle 1, Fulham 0. Cross came in from the right. Benjamin Lecomte in goal for Fulham for cup ties has just parried it straight into the path of Johan Visser, who has tapped it in. First Newcastle start, first Newcastle goal. It is a total and utter gift. It's live on Talksport 2. Newcastle 1, Fulham 0 is the score. Live on Talksport, Man City lead Brentford by a goal to 0. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
And it's Man City 1, Brentford 0 at half-time on Talksport. City are 9-2 on to win in 90 minutes. The draw's 9-2. Brentford to win 12-1. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
And there's another goal in the Women's Champions League. Angelina Kelly.
It's OH Leuven 0, Arsenal 2, and it's a goal for Beth Mead. She receives the ball from Alessia Russo on the edge of the box on the right-hand side and just dances a little further into the box, and she fires the ball low into the far corner. And what this means is that Arsenal are still in the playoffs, but they're in 5th place. They're level on points with Wolfsburg, who were in 4th, so it's actually only goal difference that is stopping them from getting straight in to that quarter-final.
Angelina, thanks very much. Lots to update there, but she'll keep you in touch as the game goes on. As Fulham equalise here at St James Park, it is a free header and it is 1 apiece. Newcastle United 1, Fulham 1 is the score. And Fulham had started well, then Newcastle had scored. Sasa Lukic has found himself in the box and he's managed to head home past Aaron Ramsdale, and it's all square. And suddenly the Newcastle fans have gone a little bit quiet. Newcastle 1, Fulham 1. Sasa Lukic with the header to cancel out Johan Visser's tap-in just a few minutes beforehand. So Newcastle taking the lead on 10 minutes. On 16, Fulham have equalised. Wow, this live on Talksport 2 right now. Newcastle 1, Fulham 1. Let's go back to the Etihad. Man City leading Brentford by a goal to 0. Dean Ashton, what will Keith Andrews have said at half-time to these Brentford players?
He'll have said that they probably regressed too early in the game. I know Phil Foden came on and does make a difference because of his quality and the interchanging of positions of the Manchester City forward line, but I just felt they went too deep too early. And just you're allowing that pressure to build from City when actually early on they were higher up the pitch. When they won it back, they then did look a threat with the ball over the top for Sharda, who just couldn't keep himself on side until that one opportunity up against Kirsanov. So I think he'd be disappointed maybe with a lack of belief, I think, second part of that first half.
Will he be disappointed with himself for the team that he's picked, the players he's left out maybe?
Depends whether it's felt as if it's out of his hands. Do you know what I mean? As if, you know, speaking to the medical department, speaking to the players, as if they were never an option in the first place. I'd love to know deep down what it genuinely is, because it has to be something pretty serious, I would say, to not be able to play 3 games in a week or be here on the bench for those 2 players. But ultimately, at the start of the game, it felt like they had a bit of a chance with the way they were playing, with the pace of Sharda. But it's about belief, Age. You can't just allow a team like City to get into the comfort zone and start bopping it around and let their good players flick it around the corner, etc. There's got to be a genuine belief. And the only thing with not bringing those 2 is, I think it does affect the group. It sends a signal of this isn't as important as the Premier League games.
Yeah, and you get Jordan Henderson into the building because he's a winner, because he's been there, done that. And it feels like he's got so much energy in every single game that a midweek cup tie probably and do the very opposite of affected him badly. It might fire him up a little bit. Cross comes in here in the Newcastle, in the Fulham box. Johan Visser trying to get on the end of it, but he can't quite connect with the header, and it stays Newcastle 1. Fulham 1. Let's get the second half at the Etihad. Man City 1, Brentford 0. Here's your commentary team, Dean Ashton and Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you. Don't forget that game at St James Park that Adrian's watching. Newcastle 1, Fulham 1. Continues right now live on Talksport 2. And if you've got the Talksport app, it's dead easy. What you need to do, select live games, then just pick the game that you want to listen to. You don't have to miss a second of the action. You can join us for wall-to-wall live League Cup action tonight and wall-to-wall live Premier League commentaries as part of the Festive 50 right here on the Talksport app. We're back underway with Manchester City kicking from right to left, leading by a goal to 0 with that wonderful strike from Ryan Cherky 13 minutes before half-time. Brentford heading the ball forward, flicked on by Damsgaard. Sharda offside. Again, I'm going to stick my neck out that might not be the last time tonight. Ake preparing to take a quickly taken free kick for Manchester City. You line up with Trafford in goal, Lewis, Kusanov, Ake and O'Reilly, and then Nico and Reinders. Macassar on the right, Cherky and Savinho, with Phil Foden playing through the middle, often arriving late. He's just in a position near the edge of the D now as Manchester City will try and bring it forward. Flicked off towards Macassar, onto his left foot. Can he get a shot in? He can't, but he can find Foden. Almost able to improvise a pass through towards Savinho. Brentford got it away. Foden picks it up again and goes back for O'Reilly. And now O'Reilly towards Ake. And Ake to Phil Foden again. On the Manchester City left. And he's played it in towards Ake, who drops his shoulder, turns away from Yarmolyuk, the Ukrainian international midfielder for Brentford. I'll give you the B side in a moment. City strangling the game out of Brentford at the early stages of this second half with the amount of possession that they're having. Brentford have hardly had a kick. They have it now with Schade, who can bring it forward. But he can't get past Reinders, who just stood firm and diverted the ball away from him. Now then Reinders has it again, and he can turn inside the centre circle. Saw Savinho to his left. He's gone the other way instead towards Macassar. Macassar in towards Savinho. Reinders continues his run. Savinho can't find him, but goes to ground. The referee says no foul and gives a goal kick to Brentford. It's 1-0 to Manchester City, and here's Dean Ashton.
Yeah, they worked it well, didn't they? Macassar did really well with his first touch to be able to take it on the half turn, try and play Savinho in, who definitely gets a touch, and there's a little push from Aya just on the side of Savinho, but sadly it was like a puppeteer just pulled a string on his back, and the arch was just far too unreal.
Brentford lining up with Valdimmerson in goal. Back five of Coyote, Aya, Vandenberg, Collins and Henry, and then Yarmolyuk, Janelt and Jensen, and Damsgaard and Schade up front. And if you're just joining us, no Jordan Henderson, no Igor Thiago in the travelling squad for Brentford, so they can't bring their leading scorer on, the man that's got 12 in 17 games this season, not in the building. Brentford will get it forward here for Schade to chase, and Kusanov can head away. He's the only man to have picked up a yellow card so far tonight. Many thought it should have been a red. Savinho going forward again. This latest Manchester City attack is curtailed. And Henry has got the ball at his feet and turns it back for Nathan Collins. Now down the line for Damsgaard's run. Damsgaard controlling it, waiting for the third man run from Rico Henry to his right. But Brentford just can't get anything to stick. Well, City will be able to string 15, 20 passes together at ease. Brentford 4 or 5 passes in, running out of ideas and options, and possession very quickly reverts to the hosts.
But the frustration is for Keith Andrews. He knows the space is there because Rico Lewis will go into midfield, because Nico O'Reilly will do the same. He knows there's the space there if they get it right, and they just haven't. They've just been a bit sloppy when they've won the ball back.
City able to come forward again. And Savinho unmarked at the far post if they can get it across to him. It's played back instead towards Foden. Now O'Reilly from distance, straight at Valdimmerson. First shot on target of the second half.
Again, decent strike. O'Reilly right at the goalkeeper, easy save to make. But you can really tell that the top elite players in Cherky and Foden, because they are firing it into each other. When they see that space, it's not just lent to the teammate. It is fired in, just knowing they've got that ability to kill the ball, to flick it around the corner, the awareness. Those two are on a slightly different level at the moment for City.
Ake in possession inside his own penalty area. City hoping to make it through to the semi-finals of this competition for the first time in 5 years. Not only have they not reached any of the last 4 League Cup finals, they haven't reached the semis in that run either, beaten by West Ham and Southampton, Newcastle and Spurs over the last 4 years. Just one quarter-final to show for it in that time. But set fair at the moment for a place in the semi-finals, along with Chelsea. Newcastle 1, Fulham 1. About 22, 23 minutes in, something like that on Tyneside. Arsenal against Chelsea, the outstanding quarter-final, which takes place live on Talksport next Tuesday night, the 23rd. And City can bring it forward here. Cherky out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Reinders makes a run towards the edge of the 6-yard box. The cross was delivered low and hard, but far too close to Val Dimmerson, who could make a comfortable save. But Brentford just need to be able to create something. It's all well and good hanging in there. They've got to try and give themselves a platform to build something to find this equaliser at the other end.
Yeah, without giving the opportunity for City to make it 2. Cherky with a lot of space on the right there. You can see what he was trying to do outside of the left foot, curling it in towards Reinders' run. Very difficult when it's this wet to be able to curl the ball.
Rico Henry bringing it forward here for Brentford, who have only had 1 win on this ground, which was the last game before the 2022 World Cup. Well, they came here and won with a 98th minute winner from Ivan Toney. They also won at Main Road on Christmas Day 1937, and that has been it. The only 2 wins that Brentford have ever had away to Manchester City in their history, although they have knocked them out of this cup before, best part of 40 years ago. Travelling Brentford supporters in good humour away to our right-hand side, but it'll be interesting to see what they've made of the team selection tonight. Brentford next in action in the league, away to Wolves this weekend. We've got some defending to do now. Savinho winning the ball back for Manchester City. He's just ragdolled to the ground there, and there's an angry reaction from some of the Manchester City players. The referee Sam Barrett comes across and stops the melee in its infancy. Nathan Collins gets up a little bit sheepishly and trots back to the edge of his own penalty area. It's nothing more than a free kick to City.
No, but he's one of those players that I bet he would have loved playing 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Nathan Collins would have loved to have got stuck in. Can't quite do it, but sometimes he does get physical. Savinho was brilliant then, by the way. The ball sort of dropped in, and with the physicality of Collins, he just faced Collins and controlled it with his back to then swivel and try and get away, and then Collins grabs him to the floor.
Yeah, you're talking about Nathan Collins back in the day. His dad was playing in that era, as was his uncle Eamon, a really silky midfielder that you might remember from the lower leagues. Opportunity for Brentford to bring the ball forward now. Trailing by a goal to nil. It was Ryan Cherky on 32 minutes. You're with Talksport. Jim Proudfoot and Dean Ashton talking through the action at the Etihad tonight as Brentford bring it forward. Opportunity for a shot, and it's well saved by Trafford. Diving away to his right, Christopher Ayer struck it beautifully. Not quite into the top left-hand corner, but Trafford diving away to his right, got 2 strong hands behind it and beats it away. That's Brentford's best moment for the best part of 40 minutes.
Yeah, really well struck, isn't it, from the big centre-back, right across to that far corner. It was definitely going inside the left-hand post. Trafford was already across, actually, and patted it away.
They're a man who played and won quite a few cup finals in his Celtic days, north of the border. In comes the long throw from Coyote, which ended up just being a throw. He didn't get the distance he wanted, but now he can dance through the penalty area. Fires it in towards the near post. Trafford got on the end of that. Sharda, arms up in the air, was furious that it wasn't laid square across the edge of the 6-yard box. Just for a moment, it looks as though the counter-attack was on for Savinho. He then wins it back, having shown a little bit more of it than he wanted to Sharda. Brentford still haven't got their shake back behind the ball as he goes out towards Cherky, towards the edge of the penalty area. In behind Foden. And Brentford are going to be able to bring it away. And the move broke down as quickly as it started there. It did look as though Manchester City were going to be able to bring it forward. I think if they were to score the next goal, it is all over. It would be almost unfeasible to make a case for Brentford being able to get themselves back from 2-0 down in this. Foden getting it forward. Yama looking really strongly and well to get it away from Cherky. But Savinho's got it. Down towards O'Reilly. O'Reilly again. Foden. And Ayer having a little nibble at him. And Foden playing the pass. Brentford have won it back though with Ayer and then Janelt and now Collins. The heart of his own half. Laying it back for Ayer. Sepp Vandenberg will just pass it out competently out to the Brentford left-hand side for Matthias Jensen. And Brentford will try and bring it forward again. We're 10 minutes into the second half here, and it's still 1-0 to Manchester City.
I think a player going under the radar, but starting to really improve and help Manchester City on this decent run is Nico Gonzalez. I've seen 5 or 6 times Brentford winning the ball back, trying to play in, and he's stepped in brilliantly, just sitting in front of that defence. I'm sure he's learning a lot off Rodri. Even if he's not playing, I'm sure he's trying to pick his brains and make that position his own while Rodri is out.
Now, good ball. Damsgaard, Schade, Kusanov across the cover, and that's brilliant defending because he's now got absolutely no room for error. And Schade is probably a little bit quicker than him, but he used his upper body strength and just nicked in front of Schade and was able to deny him a run towards the edge of the penalty area. But if he mistimed that, it would definitely have been a second yellow card or a red. Good defending from Kusanov.
Yeah, early assessment of the situation, wasn't it, from Kusanov? Knew that he was level with Schade. You're right, I think Schade is slightly quicker. Kusanov is quick, by the way, but you're right. Schade's not got a lot of upper body strength. He's pretty weak, and Kusanov just stepped across. Was too aggressive, too physical, and got rid of the danger. Good defending.
But that's still the kind of opportunity that Brentford are having to play for.
But also, I've not seen it enough. Why isn't Schade playing up against Ake? Just swap with Damsgaard for 10 minutes. Go up against Ake, see if actually you've really got the beating of him. Every time he's tried to run in behind, it's with Kusanov.
Yeah, because you would imagine pace-wise, that is the matchup that would be more effective for Brentford. They'll try and get the ball forward here, and Kusanov has gone across into the right-back position to cover. He's conceded a throw that's been taken quickly. Henry's got in on the edge of the penalty area. Lays it back for Kevin Schade. Yarmouk cleverly letting it run. Coyote gets to the right-hand side of the penalty area and checks back. Yarmouk can't deliver, but he can play back for Ayer, who can. He's fired it in towards Schade, who attacked it, and Kusanov has dealt with that as well, heads it away. Now Manchester City can bring it forward as Chelsea equalise at Wolfsburg in the Champions League through Lucy Bronze right on the stroke of half-time. Wolfsburg 1, Chelsea 1, and that takes Chelsea back into the top 4 in the Champions League and will be a place in the quarter-finals if they can hang on to it. The first half just about to come to an end in Germany. Wolfsburg 1, Chelsea 1. Arsenal 2 up away at Leuven. It is half-time in Turin, where Manchester United lead at Juventus by a goal to nil. And although, as things stand, the teams are 4th, 5th and 6th, it will be only Chelsea that will make it through to the quarter-finals. Arsenal and Manchester United will have to go into a playoff round, but we will keep you updated and confirm those half-time scores for you very shortly. Nathan Ake plays the ball forward, and it's taken a touch off. Damsgaard goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester City left-hand side by Nico O'Reilly. City have won 8 of their last 9 League Cup quarter-finals. They lost the last one they were in at Southampton 3 years ago, but they've won the preceding 8 before that. Previous League Cup quarter-final defeat that they suffered was at home to Spurs 18 years ago. Here's Kusanov. Side puts it out of play. It's a throw which Brentford looked to take quickly. Keith Andrews acted as the ball boy and immediately handed it to Yarmouk for a quick throw. But City very quickly got their shape back. Brentford will have a more measured approach down the left-hand side as they bring this forward. Out towards Rico Henry. 59 gone. Still Manchester City leading by a goal to nil. Still 1-1 between Newcastle and Fulham, and we'll be off for details with Adrian very shortly. Brentford, good ball down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Henry making the run. The covering challenge was effective enough. Henry, in trying to win, is actually given a free kick away. He's absolutely furious because he thought that should have been a corner, but a foul's been given against him. And it's a free kick to City inside their own box. And now a play. City 1, Brentford 0. Let's go back to St James Park. And here's Talksport's Adrian Durham.
Yeah, Newcastle 1, Fulham 1, just over half an hour gone at St James Park, and not much in it, to be honest with you. It's fairly even in terms of the sides going forward. Visser tapping in for 1-0 on 10 minutes, and Lukic's free header, inexplicably free header on 16, levelled it up. Newcastle 1, Fulham 1, live on Talksport 2.
And let's get details of that Lucy Bronze goal for Chelsea. Angelina?
Yeah, it's Wolfsburg 1, Chelsea 1. There was a corner that came in from the left-hand side from Meredith Cuthbert, straight to Lucy Bronze, who fights off the Wolfsburg defenders to head it with kind of the side of her head. It looked like she didn't even know much about it at first, but she's been instrumental in this game defensively, and if anyone was going to score, it had to be her. Wolfsburg 1, Chelsea 1.
So that's a half-time score. Arsenal 2-0 up away to Leuven. Manchester United a goal up away to Juventus. Chelsea fourth at the moment. They're the only side in the top 6 in the live table who aren't ahead, but a draw will do for them. With the other results as they are at the moment, it would take them up to 4th, or leave them in the top 4, should I say. They started the night 3rd, leave them in the top 4, but would have them in the quarterfinals without the need to play in the playoffs. There's some action on the Manchester City bench. Erling Haaland has been sent out to warm up away to our left-hand side, which is the applause you can hear. And a few more of his counterparts potentially getting ready for some minutes on the field with an hour gone. Brentford are in possession. Schade as they look for an equaliser. He's just been given a little shove to the ground there by Foden. And Brentford with a free kick 25 yards outside the penalty area in a central position will have the opportunity to load the box again.
Well, and when it's still 1-0 to City, Brentford have, like I said, it's got to be about belief for them. You can take an opportunity, a set play, a counter-attack. While it's still tightly poised, can you take advantage?
So Bernardo Silva is stripped and ready for action. He's just putting an orange bib on to cover his number 20 shirt. Mateus Nunes, I think, will be joining him on the field as well very shortly. Brentford hoping to be back on level terms before that double change is made. This free kick a long way out. Jensen standing over it. Janelt is there as well. And City holding a line which is 8 strong, just outside the penalty area, about 3 yards outside the box. Side-footed forward by Janelt, worked in by Damsgaard. Easily headed away. Savinho trying to get forward quickly on the counter-attack. It's a good battle between him and Schade. Schade back goal side. That forced Savinho to turn away. Janelt then was on the scene. City have kept possession, but they've now got 11 Brentford players between them and goal again, as Foden just exchanges passes in the midfield about 4 times in quick succession with Cherki, who are just having their own individual game for a moment. And now Ake's got it, and City have the opportunity to work it forward.
Yeah, and the top managers sense it. Pep Guardiola can sense that the game is too tightly poised. There's maybe been a slight lack of control lost in the game. Brentford starting to gain a little bit of confidence with some of the territory that they've been able to gain. And he's looking to make a change, and just his body language towards Bernardo Silva and Nunes he wants a bit more life in the game.
Valdimmerson with the ball at his feet inside his penalty area away to our left. Foden chesting the ball down. Savinho coming forward. Aya in the nick of time to knock it away. Foden though chesting it down again. Good save by Valdimmerson. Well, he got the shot off in double quick times. He just chested it down just as it was dropping. He hit it with almost a hitch kick towards the bottom right hand corner, and Valdimmerson dived to his left, and the big Icelandic goalkeeper got a strong hand to beat it away.
Yeah, it's a terrific save, isn't it? Foden's so good at this, hitting down on it, skimming it low and hard with the way that he strikes the ball. Valdimmerson with a really good left hand, low.
This time it's O'Reilly coming forward, taking on Yarmouk and beating it. His ball through the midfield for Reinders. He was beaten to it. Brentford then immediately give possession away. O'Reilly trying to win it back, can't do so, and then he's pushed Schade over. And the referee is just indicating to the City bench that they can now make their changes. There will in fact be 3, because Gvardiol is going to be coming on. Meanwhile, Pep was absolutely furious with something that he had seen, and the lack of intensity from his players in the midfield. So Bernardo Silva's going to come on. He's just literally fallen over the numbers board, which had been put down, the spare numbers board behind the 4th official. Bernardo fell over it, didn't see it was there. Gvardiol comes on for Nico O'Reilly, whose black hair is ruffled by Pep as he makes his way off the field. Nico Gonzalez is going to make way for Mateus Nunes, so does that mean that Lewis is going to come into a more central midfield position? For Nunes to go into his customary right-back role. And the final change, Bernardo Silva on for the goal scorer, Ryan Cherky.
Yeah, I think obviously still one eye on the Premier League game at the weekend. He talked about that maybe being more important, the title race, than this game, hence making changes. Cherky, the difference so far.
So he comes off, leaves the field as the match winner potentially. Bernardo Silva comes on. Bernardo, who won this competition 4 times in the early days of Pep's reign in 2018, 19, 20 and 21. He has come on for his first League Cup appearance of this season. He's just short of 430 appearances into his Manchester City career now. Jensen taking this free kick in towards the edge of the City box, and it's knocked away. We're a minute shy of the midway stage of the second half. Manchester City have led for more than half an hour after that wonderful strike by Cherky. Brentford looking for an equaliser, have possession with Jensen on the edge of the centre circle. Sprays it wide for Damsgaard. Damsgaard firing it in. It was a nice shape on that ball. The centre halves were forced to attack it, but City defended it well. And now the counter-attack is on as it's worked down the left-hand side for Macassar to Savinho. And he will make his way now inside the box. Fires it. Oh, it's deflected it. 2-0, Savinho will claim it. Aimed for the bottom right-hand corner, and it hit the covering Brentford defender and looped up with a curving trajectory over Valdimmerson. Nothing that he could do about that at all. And Manchester City double their lead, and surely now have the place after that higher deflection in the last 4.
Well, it was a great break, wasn't it, from Manchester City? So quick, so concise. Beautiful pass through to Savinho, who's got the pace. Once he's away, drives away from Yarmolyuk. Christopher Ayer just comes across. He does the right thing. He's trying desperately to block this shot from Savinho. It takes the most vicious of deflections up and over the goalkeeper, who can do absolutely nothing. It's one of those lucky ones where you just strike towards goal. The goalkeeper's going to save it quite comfortably. And then the deflection that goes from the bottom of Ayer's calf, hits the floor, spins up and over, taking all the pace off it, and just falls into the far corner.
Well, he's got a couple of goals this season now, Savinho. One at Huddersfield in round 3, one tonight in the quarterfinals. And Manchester City lead Brentford here on Talksport by 2-0. Schade can't get past Ake. One back by Reinders. Bernardo Silva with a little flick. The tricks might be coming out now a little bit, although I don't think Pep liked that from Bernardo too much. The way that there was an exaggerated flick there. His Foden backheel flick from him takes a deflection off a Brentford player and spins across the edge of the 6-yard box, but the Bees get it away. Then Damsgaard battling, loses out to Bernardo. To Reinders. Reinders pass one challenge. And then on the turn, a second, there was a little nutmeg of Yarmolyuk. Still, he's got it. How's he retained possession there? Savinho. And a shot from the right-hand side of the penalty area from Macassar sails past the top left-hand corner. City in the mood now, 2 up. And it's almost inconceivable that you can make a case for Brentford from here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either how Tijani Reinders managed to keep hold of that. I think there was a couple of nutmegs in there somehow. Sort of almost skimming it off the surface into people's calves and it coming back to him. And found its way out to Macassar. Decent effort, really good technique to whip it with his left foot to the far corner. Maybe 2 or 3 feet over the top.
Let's get details from St James Park coming up to half-time. Newcastle against Fulham. Here's Adrian Durham.
It's still Newcastle 1, Fulham 1, but Newcastle have been pressing. Bit of pinball in the Fulham box, but Visser couldn't finish and Fulham cleared. And a Lewis Miley header was kept out as well. Corner as we speak for Newcastle goes all the way across the box, and it stays Newcastle 1, Fulham 1.
Cheers, Aid. Wisser scoring his first Newcastle goal. Sasha Lukic with his second of the season, equalising for Fulham. It is 1-1 coming up at half-time, and that game continues over on Talksport 2 at the conclusion of this one. you'll be able to hear whatever's left. Probably about 40 minutes or so from St James Park. Brentford are going to be making a double change with Hickey coming on in a moment, and Keane Lewis-Potter will also be introduced. Bernardo Silva has possession for Manchester City. He's 15 yards outside the Brentford box. Back from him to Núñez. And now it'll break Lewis's way. Diverted down towards Bernardo Silva, to Reinders, to Bernardo. Vardiol. And Brentford at the moment struggling to really get a kick. Reinders again. It's midway inside the Brentford half. Vardiol going back inside his own half for Ake. Ake down to the City left for Bernardo. Bernardo working it deeper. Ake letting the ball run between his legs away from Schade so he can lay it back for Trafford. Trafford clipping it forward right-footed. Headed away through the midfield by Yarmoliuk. Don't forget the draw is about 10:35 tonight. You can hear news of it, first news of it, on the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls, reflecting on all of the night's action. Manchester City leading here, Newcastle being held by Fulham in the game over on Talksport 2. The boys taking your calls on 03717 22 3344. And then don't forget Talksport breakfast tomorrow with even more reflection to tonight's games and to the draw itself. That's at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning here on Talksport. Phil Foden's got possession for Manchester City. Brentford just chasing shadows at the moment, because I bet City are about 30 passes into this move, and all they need to do is keep it.
But the problem is, you know, there's probably 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more to go in this game. City have shown already this season that they can give up opportunities, even here at the Etihad, give up a lead.
Ball on the edge of the penalty area as another shot comes in, it's deflected. Coyote can head that one away. Vardiol comes onto it, laid down by Macassar. Looks as though he might get the full 90 tonight. Back from him to Nathan Ake. And then Núñez turning in midfield can nudge it forward into the feet of Phil Foden. And that'll be Bernardo Silva coming forward towards the edge of the box. To Lewis, to Núñez. Núñez turns and sees that Schade is going to pick his pocket. Schade's not got too much in the way of support. He can release Damsgaard, whose first touch took him into traffic rather than away from it, and Ake can bring it away.
Yeah, and they're going to look at a threat still with Schade on the pitch.
So he bring it again down the right-hand side. Savinho with a shot straight of Valdemison.
But you can either shrug your shoulders and go, oh, well, unlucky. It's Manchester City away at the Etihad. We were always going to lose, and you see this 20 minutes out by just staring at the City players, playing it around. Or you're really brave. The supporters, certainly over to the right-hand side, they will not care if it's 3 or 4-0. What they would care about is, have we still had a go with 20 minutes left? I know he's making some substitutions, but you know, can we have a go at least getting maybe one back and seeing just where that might take you? There'd be nothing worse than just watching City play out if you're a Brentford supporter without having a go in a cup competition. That's what would hurt.
Well, in the league at the moment, Brentford are 15th, which doesn't sound great, but I think the perspective is that they're only 6 points off 5th, and they're 7 clear of the bottom 3. So in terms of the actual geography of the table, it's not great, but in terms of the points, they are closer to the top 5 than they are to the bottom 3. But maybe that's in Keith Andrews' mind ahead of the match at Wolves that they've got at the weekend, his old club. Brentford will be able to bring the ball out of the penalty area away to our left-hand side. It's 2-0 to Manchester City. The Bees turning. Off to Ali Pally in a moment. Damsgaard tries to whack a long ball forward down towards Rico Henry, but that was cut out. And Manchester City can bring it forward here with Foden making a good run. Reinders too inside the penalty area, but he couldn't get on it to be able to flick it back to Foden. And Manchester City get a corner that they will take over on the right-hand side. Let's get a quick dance update from Ali Pally. Here's Talksport's Ian Dante. Evening, Dance.
Evening to you, Jim. Big news. Raymond van Barneveld, the 2007 champion, is outbeaten 3-0 by the first Swiss player ever to hold a PDC Tour card, Stefan Belmont. Very straightforward victory for the Swiss. James Wade, the machine, who's never made the World Final, is up next live on the Talksport Darts YouTube page and the Talksport app.
And our wonderful darts coverage continues with Dan Lee and the team at Ali Pally, as he says, on the Talksport app. We'll keep you abreast of everything going on. Brentford with a corner to defend, but are making a double change before it is taken. They've swapped the two fullbacks out. Coyote and Henry off. Hickey and Lewis Potter on. Manchester City with a corner, which I think is their first of the second half. 15 to go. It is 2-0 to Manchester City. Ake making a run, trying to peel around the back. The ball's hit in his direction. He got his head to it. It's flicked on. Shard has cleared it. I think the goalkeeper would have saved it anyway. Damsgaard on the turn can hook it further clear, and it might break Lewis Potter's way on the Brentford right. He's can have to play it back towards Jensen. And now Brentford putting their foot on the ball in the midfield with Vandenberg will end up going wide for Collins, and then deeper still back for Val Dimmerson. Still 2-0 to Manchester City here on TalkSport.
And the likelihood is, to get back into the game, you're going to have to be brave if you're Brentford. You're going to have to maybe risk a few more players higher up the pitch to give Sharda and Damsgaard a bit more support and overload Manchester City. And yes, you might concede the third because of it.
City coming forward, trying to find that third. It's Foden, round one, round a second, stumbled. And then Bernardo Silva trying to get in there. Couldn't find the ball at his feet. Foden is claiming that it was a penalty. Collins tells him what he thinks of that by hooking him back to his feet. The referee was completely unmoved. Bernardo Silva with the biggest shouts for the penalty. I think Foden himself was particularly convinced, although he did appeal for it. Now Brentford trying to bring it forward at the other end, win themselves a throw midway inside City territory. And a goal back will set up a grandstand finale with 13 minutes to go. But very few signs of that elusive first goal of the night for Brentford. They've only had 3 shots compared to Manchester City's 15. And that Kusanov incident, 10-12 minutes into the game, will be extremely significant. Could have been different had Brentford been playing the vast majority of the match against 10 men, as they certainly will feel as though they should have been. It'll be interesting to hear Keith Andrews' reaction after the game to that, but I've got a fair idea. I know what he's going to say. Would it realistically have changed too much? I don't know.
But it's the type of game where, when you're Brentford, you know either City probably need to be a little bit off it. You need to be at your best, and maybe you need a decision to go your way in the game. And they just didn't in that moment when, for me, it was most certainly a red card. It was a goal-scoring opportunity for Sharda.
City trying to come forward now, have won a corner, which again will be taken on the right. Don't forget our live and free basketball coverage tonight. That's on the TalkSport YouTube channel. London Lions in action at the Copper Box Arena. They need a victory to really boost their chances of a top 6 finish in the Euro Cup. And it's live right now on the TalkSport YouTube channel. The London Lions live in action on TalkSport's YouTube channel from the Copper Box Arena in London. Corner which will be taken on the Manchester City right with 12 to go. Left-footed in, swinging towards the edge of the 6-yard box, knocked away. Volley clear by Sepp Vandenberg. Pep calling his last substitute in. And I think we're going to see Charlie Gray coming on for his Manchester City debut, potentially. Pep called him back, and he just went over. He's wandered back down the touchline towards his manager. Yes, boss? Get yourself ready. Pep wasn't having it. Gave him a little clip round the back of the head. Go and get yourself ready. Well, he didn't dare believe it was going to be true. Ball's gone out for a throw, which will be taken over on the Brentford left. He's getting a right ribbing about that from his teammates as well down there. A throw to Brentford. 2-0 to Manchester City with 10 minutes to go. We're also going to be seeing Brentford's lively winger, Ramel Donovan, coming on very shortly. Donovan, a product of the youth system at Birmingham City, and a fine player, really quick. And he came on and had an excellent 20 minutes at Grimsby in the last round. Long throw to be taken over on that Brentford left then, in towards the near post. Looking for a flick on that didn't come from Ayer. City should be able to bring it away. They've actually given it away. Jensen has it back. Jensen through the penalty area. Damsgaard trying to trick his way through just had too many bodies to deal with. Laid back instead. Cross comes in, flicked on, but the flag is up against Nathan Collins, and it's a Manchester City free kick. So we'll see those changes. First of all, Ramel Donovan coming on. He made his debut for the last 25 minutes at Grimsby in the 4th round. He's had a loan spell at Burton in his career as well, and he's going to be coming on to replace Jensen. And the Manchester City change will see a debut for Charlie Gray. He's 19. Product of the academy. He's played a few games in the EFL Trophy for the under-21s, but this is going to be his senior debut, and he's coming on for Phil Foden. I would imagine it's the first time that Phil, certainly for a while, has come off the bench and then been taken off again, but it's just to rest his legs. Job done, really. So a central midfielder coming on to replace him. Foden off, and a debut for 19-year-old Charlie Gray.
What a moment for the young man to come on and to replace someone like Phil Foden. This is where you certainly want to take it in, but you're desperate to make an impression just for the minutes that you get.
So Donovan has come on for Brentford and is playing on the right-hand side, almost in support of Schade. They haven't changed the shape. So he's not playing in his orthodox winger's role, really. But Damsgaard has dropped in that little bit deeper now that Jensen has come off. Donovan loves to hug the right-hand touchline, but he is a winger that can go either way. I saw him play for Brentford's second string in a match at Doncaster against Sheffield United at the back end of last season, which was I think it was a playoff between the northern and southern winners of the under-21 league, and he was absolutely sensational. He really is a winger who's got pace, and he's got a trick, and he's genuinely two-footed. Really good player. I want to watch for the future. Might not get too many kicks tonight, though. City bringing it forward. 8 to go. And City leading here by 2-0 with Cherky on 32 and then Savinho on 67 with a shot that Dimmerson would have saved had it not deflected off the underside of Aya's leg and looped up off the ground over the goalkeeper and in. He was absolutely powerless. And City 7 minutes away from their first semi-final in this competition for 5 years, to deny Brentford only their second ever major cup semi-final. Vardy will bring it forward here for City. Now to Bernardo Silva, down towards Macassa, who will get the full 90. Back from him to Nunes. Nunes in a more central area. Gray. Nunes again. Lewis. Silva. Ake. Ake taking in touch, taking it away from Schade, giving Gray the instruction to turn. And he can do that, and he can play a good ball forward for Macassa. Macassa checking, lays it back just past Gray, and Donovan is in there, winning the battle of the two young substitutes and just getting a slight little clip into the ribcage from Bernardo Silva on his way past. It's a Brentford throw, but it's mission impossible for them. 2 down with 7 to go.
But they've got to keep trying. I guess coming on as a substitute for Manchester City, one thing you can guarantee is you'll get a touch of the ball. And Gray's already had 3 or 4 touches since coming on. And City have shown they're the best at controlling a game situation when they're ahead.
So 6 to go here. Let me remind you of the score: Manchester City 2, Brentford 0 here on Talksport. The conclusion of this game will be back at St James Park for the rest of Newcastle against Fulham, which is currently 1-1 at half-time. As the ball is played for by City, looking for a third. It's a good run by Reinders, who easily beat the offside trap, but found that he had Aya goal side of him, Van den Berg goal side of him very quickly. City maintaining it with Nunes. After that Newcastle game, it'll be the Sports Bar at 10:15 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy opening up the Sports Bar and giving you your chance to have your say on 03717223344. That will include first news of the semi-final draw. The semi-final still 2 legs, and the games will be played in, well, the first legs anyway, in mid-January. I think the 13th and 14th of January. News of that draw from about 10:35, 10:40 tonight with the boys. Also then tomorrow, Alan Brazil and Gabby back with Talksport breakfast from 6, with all the reaction to tonight's EFL Cup quarter-finals and build up to this weekend's Premier League football. And you can watch the show on your smart TV or the Talksport YouTube channel, so there's no excuse to miss breakfast tomorrow morning from 6. And then the festive 50 continuing tomorrow night with Palace in European action on Talksport 2 at 8. The ball on the right-hand side of the Manchester City penalty area. They're trying to work it inside the Brentford box, but can't quite do so. Schade is back there to try and turn it away. Donovan making a run from inside his own half. He's gone too early. He's got to check. Schade still got it. Schade then nudges it into space himself to try and take on Nathan Ake, and he's been caught. And it's a free kick to Brentford, and a yellow card is shown for Mateus Nunes.
He is quick, Schade. When he gets himself away, he's very, very difficult to stop. Nunes tried 3 times and eventually got his man.
Yeah, he's quick. He's a smooth operator, Schade. No doubt about that. The equaliser at Tannadice for Dundee United. Dundee United 1, Celtic 1. Carestes with the equalising goal there for Dundee United, who haven't won any of their last 7. But Celtic peg back as they try and avoid a 4th defeat in a row. 6 points off the top 2 with a game in hand at the start of the night. No, sorry, 6 points off the top with 2 games in hand. Not 6 points off the top 2 with a game in hand. 6 points off top with 2 games in hand. But being held at the moment, 1-1. Free kick to be taken on the Brentford left from Damsgaard, and he's chipped into the crowd.
It's just those little moments. It's never really felt like they've had the belief or the quality. Really poor from Damsgaard. He's a very good technical player, but not shown his best this evening.
Brentford will make another double change, and they're bringing on 2 players who haven't seen any first-team action so far this season. Yamaluka Schade off, and they're replaced by Yunus Emre, the under-21 international from Turkey, who cost £4 million from Sivasspor. He made a handful of appearances off the bench last season in the Premier Leagues. Never started for the club. He's had his injury problems, but he's on. So too Gustavo Nunes, the £10 million acquisition from Grêmio, the Brazilian winger who last saw the light of day back in May. He's had problems with a knee injury in between times. But they're both on with, 3 minutes of normal time to go. All over by the shouting. It's felt that way for quite a while, truth be told. Manchester City 2, Brentford 0. Bees in possession, but back inside their own penalty area with Valdimmerson. Valdimmerson playing it forward out from the back for Yunus Emre. And then work down towards the retreating Damsgaard. Out on the left-hand side. He's lost possession. City can bring it forward with Bernardo Silva. Making his way to the edge of the Brentford penalty area. He's pulled it back for Dusko Gvardiol. Nunes able to turn. Bandage around his lower left arm. Played forward in towards the feet of Rico Lewis. Turning smartly, but Van der Berg's able to get that away and trying to release Donovan down the Brentford left-hand side. He's kept possession. He's had to play it really quickly back for Keane Lewis Potter. Damsgaard helped on round the corner again. The Brentford players have got to hold the line. Gustavo Nunes was able to do that, and in doing so, Ake timed his defensive run more effectively and could get back goal side and find his goalkeeper with a back pass.
I would imagine Pep Guardiola would be just so pleased with the way the game has gone so far up to this point. I think to be able to name the starting team he did and make the changes he has will have been ideal.
"30 seconds of normal time to go." I don't think there will be a huge amount of stoppage time to be added on. Brentford in possession. 25 yards outside the Manchester City penalty area. The City looking for another clean sheet. It will be a 10th home win in 11 games in all competitions. It will be their 6th win in a row in League and Cup, and they've scored 18 goals within that run. Damsgaard pulling it back. Use of a big goal at Tannadice. Now Dundee United 2, Celtic 1. Zach Sapsford for Dundee United. They scored twice in 3 minutes. And is it going to be a fourth defeat in a row for Celtic? If it is that an insurmountable hurdle for Wilfried Nancy in the long-term future in the Celtic hot seat? Would he be able to survive 4 defeats in a row? 2-1 to Dundee United at Tannadice. Brentford pushing forward, trying to get this one back to 2-1 to have one last crack at it in stoppage time. Only 2.5 minutes of stoppage time left to be played. They've got a throw. They've taken it quickly. Ball played in. Well headed away by Ake on the edge of the 6-yard box. And then City can work it out towards the right-hand side where Savinho will just be able to nudge it forward and win a throw.
Never really looked like getting that goal, have they, Brentford? I wouldn't say there's been a huge amount of desire and energy and intensity to either. More in hope than genuine belief. And that's how it's felt for most of the evening.
Ake. Ball played forward, just took a deflection. Hickey's got it, but Gvardiol's making life difficult for him. Yunus Emery. Good run forward from Gustavo Nunes, and had Janelt not got in the way of the pass intended for his teammate, could have been dangerous. Donovan has been able to slip the Brazilian in, but his ball through just squirmed away from Trafford for a moment. There was no Brentford player there able to follow up, and he had the time to gather at the second attempt, and now he'll be able to get it away. But Manchester City 2-0 up here, and they'll fancy their chances. The draw coming up at 10:35. You'll hear first news of it on the Sports Bar. Chelsea already in it. Newcastle or Fulham joining them tonight. Arsenal or Palace joining them next Tuesday, and we'll find out together who that's going to be next Tuesday night here on Talksport, kicking off at 7:30. Time for one last Manchester City attack with a minute to go. Have the ball in the heart of the midfield. Silva. Gvardiol. Back for Silva again. Just clipping it left-footed down towards Macassa. Macassa is probably about 6'2", 6'3", tall, long-legged, very lean. Lays the ball back towards Bernardo Silva. Silva clipping it through the midfield. Ake's got it now. A chip forward by him. Chested down and easily knocked away by Aya off Macassa, and out of play for a Brentford throw. They do have to sort their away form out. I know this is Manchester City away and they've made 6 changes, but it will be a concern for Keith Andrews. 9 away games this season against Premier League opposition. 10, I beg your pardon. They've only won 2. 1 at Bournemouth in the League Cup, 1 at West Ham in the league. Lost the rest. That is an area for improvement, because it's been putting the pressure on their form at the G-Tech. Made a lot of changes tonight. Needed a little bit of luck in running. Didn't get it when Kusanov wasn't sent off early in the game for a challenge that we felt was a red card offence on Kevin Schade. He was only shown a yellow. Manchester City didn't look back. Ryan Cherky blasted one into the top right-hand corner just past the half-hour mark. And then midway through the second half, Savinho's effort deflected off Christopher Aya and looped up over Valdimarsson. Manchester City comfortable throughout, much the better team. They've won by 2-0, and they're in their first League Cup semi-final, Adrian, for 5 years.
He was relieved. Very much Manchester City make it through. Dean Ashton, did Brentford make that too easy for Manchester City?
I think it felt that way, considering the changes for Manchester City and maybe the lack of game time for some of those. The back line that they had, it just never really felt like... I wouldn't say it's a gamble. It's just the bravery, isn't it? It's the belief and the bravery to go, actually, we're going to throw, men forward. We're going to give it a real go. We're going to give the forward line a bit of support in certain moments. Never felt like they actually did that. And they did make it really comfortable for City in the end. And I just think they lacked genuine belief that they were ever going to win the game. It's almost as if as soon as the draw has come out, they've accepted they're not going to go through.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen, the stats tell a story. They've had a couple of efforts from outside the box, 1 shot from inside the box. And that shows there's a lack of intent. And I can understand sometimes why maybe fans might feel, away at Man City, we've got no chance. I do get that feeling that fans might have, but players and managers, I think, have to feel a different way. They have to back themselves. And you're never going to get anywhere unless you try and pick your best players for the game. So I can't really understand the game plan from Keith Andrews. It's almost like he was maybe even at best hoping for penalties.
Possibly. Again, if Manchester City had their best 11 out, absolutely you would expect it's a massive task, and everything would have to go your way to win the game. But when there's that many changes, that gives you hope. You've got, other than Henderson and Thiago, you've got your best players available to pick from, and they gave very little in the game. Now, he has certainly got a massive moment to talk about, that he can really lean on Keith Andrews, the Kirstenhoff possible red card. I would be amazed if he doesn't go quite hard on that as a way to soften this.
Yeah, I mean, was it clear and obvious? Would VAR, had there been VAR in place, would that have overturned the yellow and turned it into a red?
Yes, I think it would have done. I do, because VAR would have been able to look at exactly the angle of the touch from Sharda. They would have looked at where Ake was, who was on the cover but very much not where he needed to be to get to Kevin Sharda. So I think they can feel very hard done by with that decision, in my opinion. But then you can't take away from the rest of the performance, where actually after that moment you never once looked like you were going to get anything from the game.
Yeah, and I've got to say, there was a moment actually early second half, Kirstenhoff made a challenge. He had to get it right, and he did get it right. But should he have been on the pitch to make that challenge? It's all academic now. He stayed on the pitch. Man City won it 2-0, and let's just celebrate the glory of the moment that was Ryan Cherky's goal, because that's something very special. And anybody who's looked at Dean Ashton's career knows you scored some very special goals in your career. What's that moment like? What would that have been like for Ryan Cherky? And he had, by the way, had so much time at the edge of the box. I don't know what Brentford were thinking of, leaving him completely in more space than an astronaut. Extraordinary amount of space and time. And he's brought it down, and he's hit an absolute worldie into the top corner. What's that feeling like when you see it hit that back of the net?
Oh, I mean, it's special, Aid. I wish I could recreate it, but sadly you just can't. I'm still searching, to be honest, for the possibility to, because when you've got this many people crammed into a stadium for a game like this that is televised, and you hit something like that, you're the man. You are absolutely the man in that moment. You wheel away knowing everyone is stunned by what you've been able to do, and the way you can enjoy those moments just can't be recreated, Aid, in the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's a sensational goal, and listen, we mentioned him at half-time. This is a talent that we should all just sit back and admire, because he's a very special footballer, isn't he?
He is, and I think when we're certainly in an era where it feels like they're harder to find these type of players anymore that are genuine mavericks in the way that they play. He is certainly one of those. You come and see him live, the little touches here and there, the awareness, the speed of thinking, the quality, the kind of arrogance to try things, to pull things off, I think makes him a special talent.
And a quick one on Savinho. I think the whole world knows my son's a Man City fan. He is not convinced by Savinho at all. I think Man City fans are not convinced by Savinho, but that might do him the world of good. Yeah, deflected, but it might do him his confidence some good.
Yeah, I think so. I thought he was excellent, actually, in the game. I think he's got genuine pace. He's got that great ability with the close control and tricks. I think, again, it's just about end products, really, for Savinho. I think he needs to get into more dangerous areas more often with the runs that he makes. But I think there's an unbelievable player there waiting to burst out.